What would you do if you climbed down 85 meters underground all alone and lost your light?
Okay, we have no lights.
Keep watching to see how I handled it.
I am at Adventure Mine in Tuna-Hästberg, Dalarna, Sweden, and this is one of my absolute favorite places on earth, I'd say so far. I actually work as a guide here, not so much anymore because I'm traveling too much, but I thought I would guide you through this amazing place today. What you see behind me here is the old machine house. And it kind of looks like a church, and that's because the architect was used to do churches. It's very beautiful. At Tuna-Hästberg, they were mining for ore, and we have documents from this all the way back to the 1600s. Back then, everything was handheld, but in the 19th centuries, they got more modern. As you can see on this little board here, we are up here. The mine goes all the way down to 552 meters. However, as of today, from 85 meters down, the mine is filled with water. Everything you see down here is all in water. And I actually dive in this mine. I think I have some clip of that. Like I said, they were mining for ore down here, and it stopped from one day to another in 1968. When they stopped mining here, they didn't really empty the mine, so everything is still down there. That's why this is so fun. I think it's time to go down because for me, it's really cold up here. It's gonna be a little bit warmer in the mine, and also when you climb down, you actually get your body heat up.
Before we can enter the mine, we have to put on safety gear. There's no specific height requirement. However, the climbing harness has a weight requirement, so you have to weigh more than 36 kilo and a maximum weight of 120 kilo.
All right, I have my climbing gear on for safety. We need a helmet. Ooh, and I'm not sure if you can hear the wind, but it's really windy and really cold. My fingers are getting very stiff, so I'm gonna try to be quick here. But yeah, look, all done. We need some gloves, and then we are climbing. To get down into the mine, we are using the Via Ferrata. You connect yourself to the wall, and then you climb. This is what I mean by you connecting yourself. Then you have your hands free to actually move around. This first part is the trickiest part. If you can manage this part, you can manage anything in the mine. This is so cool because you can already feel the warmer air coming up from the mine. I love this part when it's winter and it's super cold up here, and then you go down and it gets warm. Oh, absolutely the best. Oh, and now it starts to get really dark, so I better turn the light on. There we go. All right, I'm officially in the mine. I'm at approximately 40 meters, and it's a bit tricky to do this on my own. I think I might have to come back here together with someone to make a part 2, because at the moment I only have this one and my little handheld light, which I now just placed on the rock. But it's hard to have light on me when I climb. So yeah, I might have to come back here together with someone and do a part 2. But we'll see, I'll give it a shot. And I actually wanted to show you where I put my flashlight. This is what's been left from when they were actually working here. So you can see they use what they got to build these steps. This was actually how they moved around in the mine. They were climbing on these ones. We don't do that today, because you can't really trust the wood down here now that it's been so long.
Since everything was just left down here, it's fascinating to be able to see how they really operated. You can see how they attached the water pipes to the ceiling, and same goes for the electricity. And what you see here used to be an office.
This is how they made their ladders. Once again, they used what they got, so they had the wood, and when the drills were no longer useful, they would build these ladders with them. So this ladder is a pretty new one. It's the actual adventure mine that has built this one, but to show how things were done back then. So this one we can actually use. I really like this one. This is actually a mine toilet. So what they did was, when they needed to go, they took a wooden box from dynamite or from whatever, and they filled it with chalk. Then they did what they needed to do and sprinkled more chalk over it, and that's it. So you can see these toilets a little everywhere around the mine, just like walking from place A to place B, and in the middle of the road, there's a toilet in case you need to go. This right here is one of my favorite things in the mine. I think this is so cool. This piece of mountain is actually a pillar, and let me show you. So the cool thing about this is that they would put this one through a pillar. So this is a pillar. They would put these ones right through the pillars, then have a thin fishing line going through it, going down like this with a weight on it on both sides. And whenever they were working, if this weight would start to go up or go down, that's how they knew that the mine was starting to move. And that's when it's time to stop mining and keep the pillars as they are.
So in other words, these pillars was that time's safety measures. If they wouldn't have kept these pillars, the mine would have collapsed completely.
I think that is so cool, like how they actually worked back in the days. Amazing.
I'm often asked, when's the best time to visit the mine? And all season has its charm. But personally, I think January to March is one of the best times to visit the mine. It's so beautiful with all of these ice constellations.
In here, you can actually be without your helmet. So as a guest and as a guide, you can take it off. And it's so nice. And that's because we've been by hand knocking out everything that's loose. So it's safe in here. Let me show you. Look at this. This is the old dynamite storage. So in here, it's very hot and dry. Otherwise, the mine is very wet. It's very moist everywhere, and it's dripping, and it's ice, and it's water basically everywhere. But in here, it's dry. We take our guests here, like in the middle of the tour, for what we say a Swedish fika. So that means you get tea, coffee, and some sandwich and a little sweet to get in here and get you warm up for a little bit and before you do the last part of the tour. How cozy is this? I love it. Now I'm at the dive place in the mine, and I haven't dived here for like, I don't know, maybe 3 years. So I really, really miss it because look at this water. The temperature is the same all year round, and the site in the water is about 30 meters. And you might think that it's a boring place to dive in because there's no life in here. There's no fishes and no nothing. But that's for me what makes this place a bit extraordinary. It's like the closest to universe going out of space that I will ever be, because you dive in here and some places are a bit narrow, and then all of a sudden it opens up just like in here. Try to show you. You see how high it is up to the ceiling? And just imagine like floating around in all of these spaces. It's so cool. Like you would actually be swimming up here and going in and around the pillars. Unfortunately, I will not have time to dive here this time, but when I'm in Sweden during summer, I will definitely come back here and do some dives.
This sign is pretty funny. It says, use eye protection. Failure to do so may result in a reduction in accident compensation. And I'm not sure the protection that you see here is the best to start with. Yeah, that's the one.
Look at this bad boy. It could easily fit like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of me. So this is what they use to get rid of all of the loose parts. When they wanted to get the loose parts to the trains, to get them out and up above the surface, because, you know, this is what they want. Okay, we have no lights. I mean, I have a light, but anyway, you did get a look at it.
So to get all the loose parts to the big shaft that would bring it all the way up to the surface, they connected these long wires to the ceiling and then hung the big bucket onto the wire. Then had one person on each side of the bucket to steer/drag the bucket, and without the loose parts, through the giant holes all the way to the trains. One can only imagine how heavy and hard that must have been.
Since my flashlight is out of battery and this was a bit more tricky to do by myself than I thought, I'm gonna call it for the day, and then I'll come back another time and do a part 2. And let me tell you, what you've seen in this episode is just, it's a very small part of everything there is to explore in here. So usually you climb out of the mine, but I'm actually gonna use the stairs, and this is a workout, I'll tell you that.
The stair has 410 steps and is probably more physically challenging than climbing out of the mine. Even for me, who lives a very active life. This is so heavy for the legs. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. Right. And we made it. Oh my goodness. This is very exhausting. Like I said earlier, there's still so much to see in the mine. I didn't even get to the sauna or underground scene, so I will definitely do a part 2. Until next time, hej då!